And what is good? It is your boy, Mr. Frenzy from MrFrenzyProductions.com, and I am back to structure this beat out from start to finish so you can see the exact process without any stops. Okay, so let's get into it. So we have a loop here. And then it cycles over again, and this is the drums with the loop. Voila, done. So basically, you could literally actually just loop that throughout the entire song, and then there you go. You got yourself a standardized beat. However, it's not very enticing for an artist's ear, okay? That's the reason why you have to add a structure. So let's do it. Okay, so first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this pattern 1 right here, and I'm going to split every single drum track into its own individual clips, okay? Just like this. Okay, so now it has all the clips all individualized so I can easily maneuver them on the playlists, okay? So first thing I'm going to do after I've done this is I'm actually going to, hold on a second, I'm going to chop this loop in half, okay? Because it's a lot easier to work with a 4-measure loop rather than it is with an 8-measure loop, okay? Especially since this loop is basically the same thing for both parts, okay? We got ourselves our tail here too, which we'll use at the end. Okay, so first off, I'm going to label this, the start, my introduction. So we gotta go over to time markers, add 1, introduction. Done. Now I can actually structure everything out and label what my structure is as I work. Another thing I'm going to do as well is I'm going to have my loop sectioned out instrument by instrument as well. Now the reason why you want to do that is because you could actually literally have that loop throughout the entire beat. However, just like with the drums, you're not going to have much control over what's going on individually with each individual harmonic section, like the chords, or melodic sections like the flutes, the pianos, or the pianos with the right hand and stuff like that. So if you can, try and get your loops to be tracked out, okay? So you have more control when you're making your beats, okay? All right, so it's probably this one right here. Let's have a listen. Yep, that's it. So I'm going to drag all of these onto my playlist. So I'm going to go with the bell, bring in the flute, and bring in the guitar, which is the harmonic structure. All right. Now what I shall do is actually cut these in half as well, okay? So now I'm going to listen to this and actually see which components of the melodic section I want to take out to instigate an introduction. Because if I have them all play all at once, it kind of spoils all the surprises for the rest of the song, you know what I mean? Okay, cool. So I'm just going to listen to the guitar for right now. I like that. Let me listen to it with the bell. Let's do it with the flute and without the bell. Cool. All right, so let me just listen one more time without the guitar. Okay, so I like that, okay? So what I'm gonna do is for my introduction, I'm just gonna have the guitar playing, okay? So I've eliminated everything else. I'm gonna bring it back in a little bit later, but this initially shall be my introduction. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my introduction is 8 measures long, okay? Because we're actually inviting the listener in to the beat, okay? Or the artist. Okay, might as well actually just make this into the 8-bar loop. Okay, cool. All right, so essentially what I did there is I just extended out the loop so it actually has a little bit smoother of a transition. Cool. Okay, good. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my drums, or maybe even like another part of the melody come in. But this is right here is where I'm going to have my verse. So the verse is where the rapper starts rapping or the singer starts singing. Okay, starts getting an actual plot point or lyrics basically to your beat. Okay, something that tells the story, actually physically tells the story. Okay, but first off, what I want to do, maybe in the introduction, I actually want to introduce some other sections of the melodic structure as well. To my ears, I actually kind of think, yeah, let me try the flute over here. Nice. Now I'm going to have my drums come in, okay? I'm also going to drop the flute out and show you exactly what I mean here. So I'm going to have, I'm actually feeling right now, not like the last beat I did, which was a really pretty sort of beat going on. What I want actually is for all the drums to come in for the verse, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally take all of my drums. So all you have to do is just click on the very top clip here, hit shift, and then you click on the very last clip here, and then you can drag them all into your playlist, okay? All right, so here we go. What I am going to take out is I'm going to take out the kick drum. Cool, all right. Other things that I took out as well, I wasn't really feeling the hi-hat and I wasn't really feeling the side snare as well, okay? So I took those out for right now. What I kept in basically essentially is just the backbeat, which is the clap, the hi-hats to add some drive. This snare right here is actually adding more power to the clap, okay? Because I felt the clap was a bit weak by itself. And of course the 808, okay? Okay, so I'm going to want to make this verse 16 measures. Right now, I'm at 8 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. End of 8, okay? So I'm going to bring in another instrument after 8 measures. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to bring in the flute now over here. Another thing I'm going to do as well is I'm going to start bringing in all of the other components of this this drum pattern. Okay, so like the open hi-hat. So you hear how the open hi-hat sounds. Cool. And of course, I'm going to try out the side snare. Yeah, there we go. Side snare gives a little bit more lift. Okay, so that is the end of my verse. So I know right at the end of my verse, I can either go for a pre-chorus or chorus. Just for simplicity, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the hook or the chorus right here, okay? So we're going to do chorus. Obviously, since this is trap music, the main components, like the guitar, is going to loop throughout the entire beat. It's the other instruments and the drums that you bring in or that you extract that give the illusion that it sounds different, okay? So in my chorus, now what I have to do is I have to make sure that I kind of listen, I kind of feel the vibe of the chorus first before I start thinking about taking stuff out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the flutes back in. Even though I'm pretty sure I'm either going to add something or I'm going to take out the flutes completely. So let's listen. Okay, so I'm actually going to take out the flute. Actually, you know what? Before I take out the flute, I want to hear what it sounds like with the bell. So I have a bell part right here, which is nice to be able to let the listener know that this is a hook or a chorus that's about to happen here, okay? Cool. To my ears, I want this chorus to be 16 measures long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm just going to add my drums. Oh, and also the infamous kick as well. I totally forgot to add in the kick as well. So the kick, I'm going to have to come back to the verse for the kick, actually. I'm actually going to bring in the kick on the chorus part, so the last 8 measures of the chorus. Yeah, okay, so basically this 808 for the verse part has enough bump to it that it doesn't really kind of need a kick, okay? Now, if I want to, in the second verse, for example, if I want to bring in the kick for the second verse, I mean, I think that it would actually add just a slight variation to the second verse and a little bit more bump that the first one doesn't have. Okay, cool. So now we're back in the chorus. Okay, perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, I'm going to cut out the majority of the other instruments, like the drums, the flute, and the bell, and just listen to the next part of the song, which is going to be the second verse, or verse number 2. Yeah, I like that. Cool. I'm actually basically going to do the same exact thing that I did in the first verse and the second one. So right now we just have the guitar. The first verse started with basically minimalized drums to start the song. What I want in the second verse is no drums, and then the drums come in. Chill. Now I'm going to bring in my side snare. Copy this. Now, here's another thing I'm going to do too. To kind of give hold on, let me see what we got here. This first part, second part, okay, good. So hold on. I have to make sure that I have, okay, so I want to make sure that the first verse is 16 measures, and I also want to make sure that the second verse is 16 measures as well, okay? Sometimes if we're kind of working a little bit too fast, and especially if we're not listening to the entire beat from start to finish, we have a tendency to kind of get lost of where we need to be, okay? So right now I have 8 measures, literally, of just guitar playing by itself. I actually kind of feel that vibe right there, so I like that. So what I'm going to do actually, so I have 8 and this is 16 right here, which is perfect because I'm going to bring my kick right here. Where's my kick? Right there. Actually, just have the 808 come in and then the bass drum right here. Then voila, another chorus part, okay? Now, generally speaking, you can change up the chorus like we did when I did the last beat individually with each section. What I'm kind of feeling is that this kind of follows just about the same exact structure, okay? Okay, so I basically took out the clap and the kick because actually what I think I might do is I might actually change up the drums as well during the second part. But yet again, I don't want to do that necessarily because for the artist, that might be the major, like, you know, the part that really hits hard for them. So actually, you know, I'm just going to leave it alone for right now. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to bring in a third verse, okay? Verse 3. Okay, let me make sure that I have it labeled correctly. Verse number 3. Okie dokie. So we have chorus. I label my chorus right here as well. This is very important. See, this is big too, because like literally I'm guiding through the process. If I started to go like, all like wonky over here on the second verse, I could have started like extending things out, and it would have been something weird like, 18 measures or like, 24 measures. Just keep it really, really simple. 16, 16, that's enough time to be able to communicate a point, if not even shorter. Okay, so in the third verse, now what I'm going to do, of course, the same thing, same sort of formula, okay? Now, here's the thing. Right here, I'm going to drop out the beat completely, okay? So I'm going to drop out the guitar, and then it's going to come in and really, really smack. Let me show you what I mean when it comes. It's going to smack with the drums and the flute. Watch. Actually, even so, I'm going to take out the flute over here. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now what I want to do is I actually want to in verse 3, I have this labeled verse 3, but I'm going to label this as a interlude instead. So interlude or break, okay? And this is going to be start to my verse 3. So verse number, if I can get the right side, 3. There you go. All right, so right here we have the interlude or the break part right here, and then verse 3 comes in, okay? I'm actually going to drop out some of the hi-hats and the side snares as well. Another thing I'm going to do as well, I'm going to drop out the drums about a half measure before the flutes come in. And then, of course, when you do that, it subconsciously builds tension. So we're really going to want to smack them hard with the kick. So let's actually bring in our kick as well. 2, 3, 4. So of course, just copy and paste the chorus. Three, 4. Okay, last part of this track, I'm going to bring in an outro. And what's kind of cool about outros is that basically it can just kind of fade out and all that sort of stuff. And that's what I kind of have the idea for. I'm not going to physically do the fade out for you guys or anything like that. I am going to label this outro though. And literally the only thing that I'm doing for the outro is I'm just taking out the bell. Okay, and then you can have this kind of loop on as long as you want, or if the artist wants, and then it can fade out. Gives it sort of like, a lull period, just to kind of enjoy the beat for a little bit, if that's what the artist wants. Or we could do as well is just have the guitar come back in and then it just feeds out smoothly. Now, I wouldn't generally do this because we're going on the 3-minute and 30-second mark, which is totally fine for a general pop song, but, I think it actually fits as well. So just some ideas for the outro as well. You can either actually have this rolling for an infinite amount of beats and then you just literally fade it out, which I'll do in later modules when it comes to more advanced songwriting tactics and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is structure number 1. So we have our introduction, we have our verse, we have our first chorus, second verse, second chorus, an interlude or a break part, just to kind of like calm down for a little bit. Doesn't have to be very long, 4-8 measures. Doesn't want to be any longer than 4 to 8 measures because it will start to get boring and repetitive to the listener. Okay. And then you have, your third verse, your choruses are pretty standard, and then your outro, and then you're done. Okay. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you liked any of this or if you learned something from it. And I will see you in the next one.